The 91-year-old had written and illustrated more than 70 books.
91. Good run.
Well, I know when Sega and I used to have our library card, and we used to go to the library every week, Eric Carle was her favorite because his illustrations were just, even when she was like 1 year old, it would keep her looking, she'd pay attention. It was cool.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Also, Kevin Clark, the drummer from, did you see School of Rock with Jack Black?
No.
Well, he was the drummer in that. He was hit by a car on Wednesday while he was riding his bike, and he passed away at age 32.
Damn. Wear your helmets, I guess. I don't know.
Wow. Because School of Rock is about Jack Black as the teacher, so all these kids, like, you know who Miranda Cosgrove is?
Yeah.
She was in this when she was like 8 or 9.
It's victorious.
Like, all these kids were like 8 or 9.
That's iCarly. Miranda Cosgrove. Oh, by the way, they rebooted iCarly, except without iCarly's homegirl, the blonde-haired chick that dated the basketball player. What's her name?
Oh, Jeanette.
Yeah, McCurdy. Yeah, they're doing it without her, so that sucks. But yeah, I'm excited about that. But anyway, no, I didn't watch the movie. I don't think I've watched the TV show that was on Nickelodeon, which was
every time School of Rock is on TV, like I stop and watch it. It's such a great movie, in my opinion.
All right.
Sports. Chad Ochocinco Johnson is also on the card for the Mayweather/Paul fight this weekend on June 6th. He will be fighting MMA fighter Brian Maxwell. Ochocinco said he has been training with boxing twins Jermel and Jamal Charlo. Now are you watching?
No.
Ochocinco?
Who's he fighting?
An MMA fighter, Brian Maxwell.
I have no interest in this at all.
Really?
If he was fighting maybe another celebrity, maybe.
I mean, I kind of want to see him get headbutted.
I know.
Because that's what Ochocinco does to females.
You don't even know that. You're talking about
Evelyn
context.
Lozada.
We don't even know the context of what actually
Okay,
happened.
I watched his dark side of football. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
it don't matter context. It really don't. He fucking headbutted her when she was just yelling at him.
No, it could have been he could have stopped real fast and then his head slammed into her.
No,
they were in a car. So
watch the show and then you tell me.
I'm not a fan. I like Ochocinco, but I'm not gonna watch this shit. I don't care.
Arrested. Marcel Ozuna from the Atlanta Braves was arrested for domestic violence after police arrived at his home and witnessed him grabbing his wife by the neck and throwing her into the wall. The Braves say they have no tolerance for domestic violence and are investigating the incident. Marcel just signed a $64 million 4-year deal with Atlanta and also was on injury for fracturing 2 fingers in a Red Sox game. Is he going to have a job when this is over?
Yeah. Because he's the second best player on the team behind Freddie Freeman, so it doesn't matter. They said they have no tolerance. If you had no tolerance, you would have got rid of his ass. You would have made him a free agent immediately. That's why he's still on the roster. So he'll play in a Braves uniform. He might get a suspension from the league. But they talked about this on the other show for a quick second. It seems like our Dominican brothers and I was gonna say sisters, but I guess it's only dudes. But the Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans. Seems like they're good for at least 5 domestic violence cases a year in Major League Baseball.
Big Papi.
I don't.
0 cases.
Wasn't he in a whole thing with like his wife? Like,
nope.
Was
Big Papi. 0 cases.
Literally, they tried to set him up because he was cheating on his wife, and they tried to set him up to murder him.
Nope.
Remember that?
0 cases. Big Papi.
You don't remember that?
Big Papi. 0 cases.
You don't remember that?
You cannot generalize an entire country.
You literally don't remember that.
Nope.
It was like 2 or 3 years ago where like the wife.
Wait, when he was shot? I remember.
Yes, exactly. That's all. That's what that was.
Wrong place, wrong time. No, man.
Oh my god!
Don't you dare disparage Big Papi.
You can think of that if you want to.
He likes to bedazzle.
He was literally the dude that shot the people that shot him. Was literally the people. One of them was married to the woman that. By the way, he was married at the time. He's married, but his mistress's husband is the reason who was shooting at him in the Dominican Republic or wherever the fuck he's from. So, like I said, the Spanish speaking baseball players,
No, stop.
they're usually good for about 5 to 6 domestic violence cases a
That's
year.
such a racist generalization.
No difference than black NFL players are usually good for about 2 to 3 domestic violence
That's
issues.
such a racist generalization.
But it's true. How is it racist if it's true?
You sound like a white guy right now.
Literally.
That's like, if you look at statistics, most black guys beat their wives. It's just statistics.
You want me to give you a
It's not racist if it's true. Get the fuck out of here.
I'll give you a white statistic. White police officers are good for about 10 to 15 ass whoopings on black people a year. So it's like I said, if it's true, it's not really racist. So,
Oh, and white guys are the most pedophiles.
that's probably I would probably agree with that. I don't know. I can't look at my big book of pedophiles and see the statistics. I've never done the research, but I wouldn't disagree with you.
It's time for Black Lives Matter news. Jay-Z recently revealed on a podcast that when he and Beyonce's daughter, when Blue Ivy was born, he realized he could protect her from many things unless she fell in water. Jay said that fear inspired him to learn how to swim in 2012.
Okay, one, that wasn't a podcast. That was the show that we were just talking about at the beginning. The Shop, a little TV show. And he said that exact same thing. He was like, after his daughter was born, that's the reason why he learned how to swim.
I can't swim. Like, is that a fucking thing?
I guess.
I mean, we got a little pool for like a little inflatable. It's not.
I can't swim.
I can't swim. And that's why. Have you ever heard of the band Tool?
I have.
So, Damien's a huge Tool fan. He loves other Tool fans. The first song I heard by the band Tool was, apparently the whole song is about how California is going to fall into the ocean. And the song's called Learn to Swim. And I felt personally attacked.
Yeah, it was a personal attack. Look, Jay-Z's life is different than ours as well. I'm sure Jay-Z's life, his child probably they have a pool at home. Every hotel they have a pool. They probably have yachts and shit. So they're probably around large bodies of water, probably like 80 to 95% of their entire day. And so they're probably in large bodies. So, like, if you're...
and then again, if Sega fell in a lake, like, I wouldn't hesitate to jump in after.
Right. But
like, I could figure that shit out.
You would probably drown as well and die.
I can doggy paddle real good.
But, like I said, we're landlocked here in Kansas. And also, we don't have Jay-Z money. So we're not allowed... Every once in a while,
That's why we're landlocked.
You might go to the pool or a water park or something, but you're not on a yacht, or you're not, you don't have a infinity pool at the crib or this and that. So I kind
got a
of
kiddie pool at the crib, but I think it has a hole in it.
yeah. So I kind of understand, like, if you're around bodies of water for a long period of time, then yeah, you might want to learn how to swim. But if you're regular folks like us, it is what it is.
Withdrawal. Naomi Osaka didn't show up to her press conference when she won the first round of the French Open, which is tennis. And she was fined $15,000. Now Naomi has decided to withdraw from the entire tournament. Naomi said she struggles with depression and social anxiety, and instead of press conferences, she is focused on her mental health. She apologized to all the journalists in the French Open and is withdrawing so everyone will focus on tennis and not her quote-unquote controversy, and she's going to work on herself.
Yeah, this is just, like, she's a kid.
I'm okay with that.
She's going through some things.
If it's good for her mental health, do it. I'm all about self-help.
This is true, but the people that's around her, they should have known that this was going to happen. Because you can't go, like, if this was the middle of the winter time or something like that, and they would have made the announcement to where she wasn't going to do any press conferences, people would have forgot about it by now. And it would have been a thing. You can't go a week before a major and say, oh, by the way, I'm not doing any press conferences. because of my mental health, and then expect not to have any people have questions. It's the timing of it. And like I said, she has a publicist, she has, managers and shit like that. They should have known that was going to happen, and prevented, kind of shielded her from this. You can't make it that'd be like if in the Super Bowl, during Super Bowl,
Marshawn Lynch goes to a press conference and doesn't say a goddamn word.
Perfect example. Or I was going to say, like this last Super Bowl.
Ice sports.
No, you don't. This last Super Bowl, if Patrick Mahomes was to say, "Oh, I'm not going to answer any questions before or after the Super Bowl," during Super Bowl, the week leading up to the Super Bowl, when they have all the news media and everything there, I'm not going to answer any questions before or after the Super Bowl because I'm having some mental health issues and just deal with it. Now, if he was doing it all season, then it wouldn't be a shocker that he wasn't answering questions. If he would have made that announcement, during the preseason or something like that. But when you do it the week of or the week before, then that's just going to cause speculation. And so that's why, all the noise and shit,
Well, I mean, according to her, she had been talking with the officials at the French Open for a long time and saying,
but she didn't make
I have this going on.
But she didn't make an official announcement to everybody.
But what she's going to do is she's going to take some time, and when she comes back, she's going to work with them on making things like this better for people with social anxiety, better for people with depression.
But there's no...
I fully support her. I'm all about mental health.
I'm all for it too. But here's the thing. Like I said, if she needs some time off, then just take some time off. That's fine. But the problem is, you get to this point now where, like I said, one, they have different athletes, professional athletes have different lives than we do. We don't have to answer press conferences after we have a bad day at work. If you're doing TPS reports.
God, I wish we could.
TPS reports and shit.
I'd have some shit to say.
In sports, that's what you have to do.
I work in retail. I got told, because our dressing rooms still aren't open, I ruined a lady's entire day. Me, personally.
Well, I can see that.
Because our dressing rooms aren't open.
It's probably your fault.
And I said, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Like,
but
let me do a fucking press conference.
But athletes, though, they have to answer. Whether you win or you lose, that's just a part of the job. And you know that going in. So you can't, like I said, if you're going through some shit, I get it. But we've seen this in all sports, not just tennis or golf or but basketball, football, soccer, this and that, there every once in a while you have an athlete depressed and shit and I ain't answering questions or mad at the game or whatever.
Practice?
But it doesn't matter if you win or lose, you have to answer. They have press conferences. So that's...
But if someone's having a mental health issue, it should be their right not to do it.
But like I said, if it's part of the job, then what you do is you take time away.
How is that part of the job? You're getting paid to play.
Right. But it's literally in the contracts of all players that you have to answer.
That's like
questions.
when I clock out and I'm walking out the door and a customer's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Can you do this for me?" Like,
no, I'm sure.
I'm off the clock.
No, it's like
I did what I was paid
it's
to
like
do.
I'm sure there's like some kind of clause in your contract that you're in your work, the application that you signed to work. There's probably something that says you can't do anything detrimental to the company while you're at work. So you can't sell drugs while you're at work on the premises. It's immediate removal if you do.
Well, yeah, that's why I only buy drugs. I'm playing.
So,
for somebody from my job list.
So it's the same as with this. It's already in with the contracts and when you enter into a tournament, you have to answer. It's already involved into your job description.
Fair? You did your job. You did your job.
And this is part of the job.
You were paid to play.
And you were paid to answer questions as well because you entered this tournament. I'm sorry you would disagree, but I'm correct. So, it's as simple as that. And the same with the NFL, the same with the NBA, the same with all
like we were talking about earlier. We've been friends for years. That's why we sound like an old married couple. Like, I'm sorry you disagree, but you're still wrong. Like, it's such a married couple.
But anyway, like I said, she just, take some time off. Take a month, 2 months off. The problem is you're in major season now. So, you're going to take the French Open off. Wimbledon's in 2 weeks. So then if you take a month off, you're going to miss that. If you take 2 months off, then you're going to miss the U.S. Open.
I don't think she cares what she's missing. I think she cares about making sure she's all right. So she doesn't do something that she's going to regret.
That's perfectly fine. But then you got to look at, every once in a while, you'll have a Williams' sister who can play for 20 years, or a Federer or a Nadal that can play for 15, 20 years. But the life expectancy of a tennis player.
Federer, I heard he's very nice.
Okay.
Speaking of celebrities, mean or nice, I heard he's very nice.
The life expectancy of a professional tennis player ain't that long. So I mean that's like I said, you got to look at it this way: do you want your career to flourish, or do you want to worry about your mental health? So I mean, because if you take time off now, you miss all the majors this year or whatever. You're going to take a whole year off or whatever. You go from the number 1 ranked person in the world to the number 50th ranked person in the world, or even further down with that. And I mean, even like with Serena after she had her kids or whatever. I mean, she's won a major here and there since then, but her career has never, because one, you get older, and then the younger people that's coming in is taking your, they prime to take your spot. I mean, whether it's rap music or whatever, the more time you take off, the more the youngsters is going to swoop up and take your spot. So, like I said,
I support her. I support her mental health.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, yeah, good for her. I mean, good for her.
Okay, wait. I do want to ask you something. So we once said that we were going to have a miniature golf tournament. Yes?
Yeah, you want your ass whooped?
How are you on tennis?